We are live. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. This evening here on the huddle, I have a few questions for you. What is the difference between creating content and producing content? Are you creating content or are you producing content? The question finally that I have for you is what type of results are you getting between one of the two? Tonight, we tackle the question creating content or producing content to grow on YouTube. And we're starting right now. Praise the Lord, everyone. Welcome to the huddle. I'm your host, Walter Strong, where we're here to help working class content creators like yourself to grow your channel, get more views, and make money online as a working class content creator. And if you're new here tonight, let me know in the chat where you're watching me from. Give me a hashtag Team Live in the chat. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag Team Replay in the comment section. And so tonight's topic and discussion is a simple question. What is the difference between creating content and producing content? Which of the two are you doing as a content creator? One who works a 9-to-5 job, who has a family, has other personal responsibilities and priorities in your life, but yet you want to grow a YouTube channel because of the passion that you have to be able to add value to the audience and viewers that are like-minded and have similar interests and goals and passions that you do. But the question is, what are you doing? What are you creating? Are you creating content? Or are you producing content? And so that's the questions we want to tackle tonight. I was listening to a YouTube video yesterday that I stumbled across, and a content creator who had been creating content for a number of years and had gotten to a place where he wanted to pivot his YouTube channel because he had gotten to a place where he was frustrated. He had gotten to the place of being burnt out. He had gotten to the place as he was creating content, he saw that it was time for a shift, but he couldn't really put his finger on the pulse and why he needed to shift. I'm quite sure you've been there. I've been there where you produce a piece of content and you post it on YouTube, a particular topic on the niche audience that you are serving, and you make the content. And as a result, it doesn't perform as well as you thought it would because of based on the research that you did, the topic that you've seen other content creators doing, and they are much more successful than the content that you put out. And it makes you scratch your head and say, man, why did this said content creator's video get over anywhere from 5 to 10,000 views? And mine only got 30 views. Can we talk tonight to those that are in the chat with me? Those who are checking in, let me know where you're watching me from. Give me a hashtag Team Live in the chat. I'm quite sure you've been there. I've been there. You get on different tools like vidIQ and you're chasing outliers to see how videos are outperforming on a particular channel. You see a topic that talks about copy this. I'm quite sure we've seen videos like this, and they're saying, hey, don't copy me, but copy what works. And so you, out of a sense of, hey, I got to try something different to try to blow up on YouTube, but you don't get the same results. And it begins to be frustrating. You begin to look at trends on YouTube on what's popular, the tent poles that are happening on YouTube, what's coming up throughout the year, and you begin to look at tent pole events and create content. Other content creators are successful and their videos going viral, but yours less than 20 to 50 views. And you get into this cycle, you get into this pattern, you start going through the motions, and it begins to frustrate you. And what the gentleman was saying in the video really stuck with me, that I said, what I was originally going to talk about tonight on Sunday, we needed to put that to the side and put this to the front of the table of the Huddle community and simply ask, are you creating content or are you producing content? So let's touch on some of the differences. Let's start with producing content. When you're, and I want you to think in terms of producing something like being on an assembly line, or some people say being on the YouTube hamster wheel, where you're producing content, you're pumping content out because you want to upload a video each week. You want to post a short, 2 or 3 shorts a day, and it becomes like an assembly line for you. Or you're going live daily, doing daily live streams because you're pumping out the content like an assembly line, like you're working for a Ford or a Chrysler, or a Ford or a Chrysler or some other big 3 automotive industry. Okay, or being in a sweatbox type industry where you're producing, you're not creating, you're producing. Here are some of the clues to let you know if you're not creating content, but you're producing content. And the first one, I need to bump over. Here we go. The first one is producing content. You've gotten very consistent in producing content. And I'm not talking about just being consistent in the message of the content. I'm not talking about where you're being posting all different types of variety content, tech content one week, and marketing content the next week, and vlogging the next week. I'm talking about producing and uploading every week. You are very consistent at this. You have this nagging feeling on the inside that if you miss an upload and don't post a video over a certain period of time, you feel like the YouTube algorithm is going to punish you because you're not being consistent. You have this nagging feeling, you have this nagging feeling that if you are not consistent, the channel is not going to grow. And that's a producing mindset. That's a producing mindset. If you've been in the music industry of some type of way, maybe as a performer, as a person who plays instruments, and you are the person who has to get into the studio and to produce an album, you start out as an artist with a creative passion to want to be able to get in the studio and to make records. But after you've done it for a while, you've made a couple of albums, you end up shifting to the mindset because the record company says, I need you to produce this next album by set deadline, so that way we can be able to get you in the top 10 and go platinum or to go gold. It's the same type of mentality. I know James Bush from Prayer Request Live, who is a person who's been in the music industry, who's in the chat, who can identify with that. I can identify that many years ago when I was in hip hop, trying to record my first rap album and getting my first rap single made. And then the studio said to me, the record label said to me, okay, you got the record out. I'm like, where's the video? Where's the promotion? They're like, no, get back in the studio and work on the next record. The producing mindset. And you can become very consistent at doing this. But what you're doing is you're not creating, you're producing. A second thing is you are in an output mode. You're pumping out content. You're in an output mode of getting content out because you got to produce it. because you want to be able to achieve a certain objectives. And you're like, okay, I need to go check and see on YouTube what my competitors are doing who have similar niches. And none of these things are bad. Don't get me wrong. But if you're doing it from the perspective of producing content, you're missing something. You're frustrated because of the results you're getting. You're putting all this hard work and sweat equity in, and the video is not performing at the level that you want. And you feel like YouTube is against you because you are a small YouTube channel. You feel YouTube is not favoring you as a working class content creator because they're favoring the big YouTubers who have millions upon millions of views and subscribers. That's because you're being consistent. You're in an output mode. But guess what? You're very disciplined. Now, these things that I'm sharing with you, you say, this is very positive. I should be doing these things. But doing these things without your creative passion, with doing these things without the genuine love for what you're doing, becomes very evident not only to you over a period of time because you begin to get frustrated and burn out, but even your viewers can pick it up. Pay attention to some of the comments that your viewers may be leaving in the comments section about your latest videos that you've posted, the latest live stream you just did and went live. And they can see that there is a pattern where you're kind of producing the same type of content over and over and over. I'll take it a step further. Again, you're consistent. You are in an output mode mindset. You're very disciplined, but your thumbnails never change. Your thumbnails are consistently the same. You won't challenge, and I'm speaking to myself first before I even be able to go into the huddle community and say, hey, you're doing this, because we want to play it safe. We want to produce and get the next video out because we see the momentum on our channels or the lack of momentum on our channels. And we're not taking the time to get into that creator mode to be able to create not just the video, not just the live stream, but creating the package, the topic idea, the video idea, the thumbnail, the titles, that instead of looking at one title, but looking at the alternative titles that we feel that'll be very compelling and very beneficial to the viewer to want to click on said piece of content. And so our thumbnails, again, not pointing any fingers, I'm pointing 7 at myself first. My titles all have a certain sequence or format of episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, or Sunday morning service set date, Sunday morning service set 7 days from now date. We're in a producing mindset and not in a content creator mindset. And so okay, I just saw that. So now we got to start all over. We got to start all over. This is too good. I don't know how much of you guys heard this. Okay, I see some people that says Nashville. Okay, my man's from Nashville Team Live, James Bush. I don't know what part of where I got muted, but I'll give you a summary. Producing content is a result of being consistent. It's a result of having a heavy output mindset to get content out on your channel, and you're very disciplined in it. And you would say there's nothing negative about having that type of mindset or worth ethic. It's not. However, if you are in a producing type mindset, a producing type mentality, like you're working in an assembly line at an automotive car industry, you're losing the creative passion and joy of why you're on YouTube and why you create content. The goal and why you originally started creating content on YouTube. You've lost the creative passion and joy why you're on YouTube because you're in a producing mindset. So that's the producing aspect. What's the how when you know when you're creating content, you have a genuine love for what you do. You have such a genuine love and a passion for what you do. You want to share it with others. You have the courage and the boldness to want to get in front of a camera, press record. You're not really sure if how people are going to take or like your video, but you have the courage that you want to get on YouTube and share what you have a genuine love and passion for. That's a content creator's mindset. You have a genuine love to want to go live and take a risk. And even if you end up accidentally hitting the mute button and then you got to start over, you have such a genuine love about the message that you want to share that you're willing to take a risk. Not only do you have a genuine love, but you have a conviction that you have a story that other people are interested in hearing. A story that you feel that can transform and change other people's lives for the better, to help improve the quality of their life for the better. That's a content creator's mindset, not a producing mindset, but you're creating from a passion, from a genuine love to help better other people's lives, whether it's through inspiring, whether through educating, or even if you are entertaining through vlogs. You have a creator's mindset. You create content. You're not producing content. Your story that you can share from not just your passion, but from your experience. Your experience, you can share from your story, from the skill set that you have. The skill sets you have, the skills that you've developed over time. You have a story you want to share that people connect with to see how you started from the beginning to where you are in your journey towards the destination. You are not at the destination, but you are a ways in the journey that you can now look back and say, hey, this is what I've been able to do. This is how my life has been able to be transformed. This is how I've been able to make money and grow a business, increase leads, or just simply entertain individuals to help people be free of the stress and the pressures of life. Whether if you are a channel that people see you or if you are a faceless channel, you are a content creator who has a genuine love to create content to benefit others, and you have a story that you want to share with others. Before I get to my last 2 points on the difference between producing content and creating content, for those of you who hung in for that brief moment where I went on mute, really truly appreciate that. Do me a favor, click that like button if you have not. And if you say, hey, I need to give you a thumbs down, Walt, you were on mute. I couldn't hear you hey, lesson learned. Hey, live happens. But if you've gotten some value out of what I've shared tonight, click that thumbs up for me. Share this on your favorite social media platform. If you're new to the huddle and you're liking what we're talking about, what we're dropping tonight here on the huddle, and you want to grow as a working class content creator, you want to get more views and make money online, subscribe to the channel, click the alert notification button, and be a part of the conversation of the huddle, where working class content creators come together to help us, not just to make an impact for the moment, but to leave a legacy for tomorrow for the audience that finds us 5 to 10 to 20 years later. So we've talked about in terms of having a genuine love. We've talked about in terms of your story. I want to see if I can get this presentation thing to work here. Because my last point. Okay. My presentation slide is not working. So my last point that I want to talk about in terms of creating content, you have the genuine love, you have the story, but most importantly, there is a mission. There is a mission, a cause, and why you create content. It's not just a hobby, but there's a cause and a mission in why you create the content. Having the ability to create something, and some of us have the ability to create things from scratch, or what we used to say in the hip hop days before, people have the ability to create by remixing. If you look at the hip hop artists from the mid 80s to the 90s, when the DJs would get together and they would take certain records and they would begin to spin them. I was watching a clip from NWA, Straight Outta Compton, and there was a scene with Dr. Dre would be on the turntables and he would just take the song, "It's Time, It's Time, It's Time," and he would just keep on spinning the record going, "It's time, it's time." And what he was doing, he was slowly taking a sample phrase from another record and slowly creating now an experience of entertainment for those who are in the room from him by simply remixing, but a form of creation. We have, as content creators, a story that, yes, other people may have told, other people may have shared, but they are not sharing it from your voice and your perspective, because no one can share content from your voice and your perspective, your life lessons. People can't share content from the shoes that you are walking in, because those are your shoes that you walk in. When you get up in the morning and you put those shoes on, I'm talking about figuratively and literally, no one can walk in your shoes but you. And so when you create content, you're creating it from your uniqueness, your perspective. For others to find on YouTube, whatever format that you do it in, whether through shorts, through long form content, through video, audio, podcasting, whatever the format, that's how you do it from your perspective, from your shoes. Now, I shared with you the results, what happens to someone who creates content from a producing standpoint. You feel like the channel is not successful. You go through seasons of burnout. You're frustrated. You're feeling like you're on a hamster wheel and you just can't stop because you're chasing this rabbit to get to the finish line, and it feels like the finish line keeps moving. But when you're creating content, there is a sense of satisfaction that, yeah, you may have not met certain goals of metric numbers, but there's a sense of fulfillment that you're getting better with each piece of content that you're making. You're getting better and you're developing new skills through each piece of content that you post on your YouTube channel. You're you have a sense of fulfillment because you are building a community of other like-minded viewers who are on your channel, whether if that's 20 people, 10 people, or 3 people. You're building and starting a community. And there's a sense of fulfillment because it's being done out of the creative passion and genuine love of why you're doing it. That's the results that you're seeing. And so you don't get caught up in comparing yourself to others whose channels who have more subscribers than you and who are getting more views. You are focused on your path, your journey, and the shoes that you're walking in because you know the mission and the cause of why you're doing it. So the question that I have for you, those of who are watching me live tonight, what have you been creating? Is it being created from the standpoint as a content creator, or have you been producing? I'll let that breathe. And whatever your answer is, put it in the chat for me. Those of you who are watching me live or those who are watching the replay in the comment section, what are the actionable steps for the pivot? Because that was one of the things that the gentleman said in the video that I was watching. He knew it was time for a pivot. One of the pivots that he had to go back to was understanding I need to go back and create content for what I am truly passionate about and what I have a genuine love. He was a gentleman that lived in Toronto, Canada, and he loved his city and the country that he was a part of. And so he was committing himself to creating content around that passion and love for the city and the country of Toronto, Canada. He was sharing about his passion for photography and film. And he was recommitting himself to that passion and genuine love for that. I forget the third one that he had, but he was not only committing and recommitting himself to his passion and to what he wanted to create through his genuine love, but he was also building his content pillars, that what his channel was going to now represent going forward. Now, he talked about, based upon the success he had obtained up to that point, I think he was somewhere close to almost, at the time of the making of that video, maybe close to 30,000 subscribers. He created a little over 500 to 700 videos up to that point. And he took those experiences through all that time of creating videos and the growth. He, as a one-person content creator, not having a team of people to help him, but as a one-person content creator. And so he was very proud of that. But he understood for him to continue on his journey on YouTube, he needed to shift from producing content to now creating content. Tonight may be the night that you need to pivot and shift. They say it in the church that in most Christian Pentecostal type churches, that sometimes a house of worship can go through a shift because of the move of God in the church. In the church. The move of God of causing a shift. Guess what? Even as content creators, Freddie, Snap, 2026, we have to go through a shift in our content creation process. And so I wanted to share this content with you tonight to encourage you that 2026 is a year where it's time for you to shift. It's time for you to pivot, especially if you've been producing content and you're constantly too tired to upload, though you're being consistent, you are too exhausted to really get quiet and create content, and you just feel like you don't have enough time to edit your videos. It's time to pivot. Give you a bonus tip on creating content. One of the things that he talked about, how he really knew he was in a producing um, mindset and attitude. He was very impatient on a lot of the early parts of his videos that he was making. He was trying to get his videos out so fast. He was trying to produce as quick as he could. But he said, going forward, I'm going to be a lot more patient with myself and patient with the process in creating content. As a content creator, do you find yourself being very impatient with recording videos? I know I do. One of the things I have to really shift and do when it comes to making videos is being willing to, take 2 to 3 different takes in the video. In the past, I've always had a habit of trying to just go through a one take video. And so if I end up making mistakes, or if I forget a particular point in the video, I will start over again instead of doing the videos in takes, being patient with the process. Like a person that's in a kitchen, a real good cook is not a person who rushes and preparing a real good meal for the person that they want to serve. I want you to think about that for a minute. A real good cook doesn't get impatient in trying to put together a real good home cooked meal. They're not trying to go in through the microwave. They're not trying to get the instant potatoes. They're not trying to make everything fast food and pick up, some fast food from Popeyes or McDonald's or whatever your choice is. Shake Shack. They're very patient in the creation and putting the meal together, putting the ingredients together, putting the flour and putting the sugar and a little bit of salt and a little paprika and the seasoning. I watch my daughter and my wife, they get in the kitchen together. On top of that, as they're in the kitchen putting the food together, they're having a good time, having a conversation, having valuable conversation with one another in the kitchen, passing on tips. My wife is passing on tips she's learned from her mother. My daughter is passing on tips to my wife that she learned online. Very patient in the process. And then when I sit down and I get a chance to taste and eat the food, I'm like, man, this is good. You need to stop being patient in the video process of when you're recording the video. You need to be more patient. Hear me now. When you're researching your next video that you're going to do, your next live stream you're putting together, you need to be more patient on the topic, on the content idea, the title, the thumbnails, the video package. You got to be patient as a content creator. The summary of all of this, of what he shared, he just had a fresh and new perspective. And of course, when he said, hey, if you gotten value out of this, if this is really, he said, I didn't really make this for in terms of me getting views, but just it was an announcement to his viewers and his audience that there was a pivot and a shift coming in his channel. And he said, if this is something that's really giving you value and benefit, hey, click the thumbs up button, give me a like, share it. If you're new, subscribe. If you've been with me up to this point, I appreciate it. Now we're getting ready to go on a new journey. It's a new chapter. Hey, I had to get a guy a thumbs up. I had to give him a like. Had to give him, and I said, man, this is a valuable lesson that as content creators, we all can learn from. We all can learn from. And so that's the content tonight. That's the content in the comments section. Those of you on the chat, See, I see a few comments here. Mr. Bush says, let me take these glasses off. He says, I need to upgrade my thumbnails so the community will know what's coming up next. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what this is all about. You know, after a period of time, we get into that producing mode, and things start to be a little the same. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, that's it. I don't see any other important, relevant comments to the stream. Just a few people passing by, no problem. But yes, James, definitely, we have to, as content creators, as both of us, when you realize you've been into that producing mindset for a period of time, it becomes evident. Things begin to stand out on the channel, especially when you take the time to look at other. Not that I want to call other content creators our competitors, but people who are doing similar niche topics. Like your channel focuses a lot on the importance of teaching people the importance and the power of prayer, the importance of how to learn how to pray and how to hear from God, and to have a love and a passion for God's word. There are other YouTube channels that are out like that we can then take the time and look at and say, okay, why is this channel much so farther ahead of mine? Why there's so much growth? They truly believe that they're not just doing this for views. They're not just doing it to be a big video influencer, but they feel they're doing it because God has given them a directive. God has given them an assignment to share his word. And they understand that their pulpit is not within the four walls of the church. Their pulpit now becomes their home studio in their living room or bedroom or closet or lower level basement or wherever their studio setup is set up. That's their pulpit. And so looking at how others are doing in your similar niche, just as I do, for me, and see what's working, what are they doing, what tools are they utilizing. Producers become focused in one way of doing things, especially when it produces and gets some, not so much as the top results, but it gets them some type of results, but it does not always get them the best results. Gives them some results, but doesn't give them the best results. And so when someone approaches it from a creative standpoint and introduces how to do it in a different way, in a more effective and efficient way, time-saving way, producing content, individuals will push back from that and say, I'm not ready to embrace AI in my content creation process. I don't understand it, and I don't know how it would work with me. I'm going to be on Tech Troublemakers YouTube channel on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to talk about the topic on the importance of what do you do when you're ready to quit YouTube. Do you quit and give up on your channel, or do you keep going? So we're going to be doing that Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on his channel. So we'll share that in the community tab or post tab. But my point is, when he created the thumbnail, I gave him my profile picture. And when he created the thumbnail, he took the profile picture, and I got to find out what he used to make the thumbnail. That was the first time that I saw an AI image of myself in a thumbnail. And I said, I like it, but you know what? I got to get used to it. Because ultimately, if the thumbnail that he created helps to get individuals to click on the live stream when we go live or watch the replay, it's accomplished its job. It's an AI image of myself, and not the original picture that I sent him, but it accomplished what he was trying to do to get people to watch the content. And so utilizing AI to help you with creating thumbnails, helping you to come up with better content ideas, to put video scripts, to put together run of shows. That's all a part of the creator process in creating content. It's all a part of that. So, yeah, but I hear you. We're gonna work on it. We're gonna definitely be on the channel tomorrow, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to help you get you on that process. And so we're gonna get the prayer request live in the direction that it needs to go in. So that's the content. Hey, if you've gotten great value out of this episode of The Huddle, do me a favor. Click that like button for me. Hit that thumbs up. Share this on your favorite social media platform. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. Are you creating content or producing content? And if you are doing one of the two, what are the results that you've been getting? Is it the results of seeing your channel grow and get more views? Or your channel is just stuck and it's not moving? It's an indication that you may have moved away from creating content to now producing content, and it's time for a pivot. So, hey, that's it for the huddle on our Sunday night. Want to get a chance to check out the Pistons and the Cavaliers. My Detroit Pistons need to win Game 7 so that they can face. Man, I'm in a dilemma from a basketball standpoint. I live in New York. Now, I've been here for over close to 30 years in New York, but I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City. And so I'm going to be in a dilemma once my Pistons win Game 7. Do I want the Knicks to beat my Pistons so they can get back to the NBA Finals since, I guess, 1990 something? And they haven't won a championship since the 70s? Or do I want to see my Detroit Pistons make it to the NBA Finals so that they can get another NBA championship since 2004? That's going to be a great, great dilemma to be in. Hey, have a good night.